In many countries around our world today, young boys and girls are born with rights and privileges that give them the freedom to attend an educational institute, to drive, vote, protest, and pray to whomever they want, as well as being free to be themselves. However, there are some countries where only boys are given such rights and privileges, and girls are left behind. So in some countries, ongoing violence puts families into poverty. They cannot afford to purchase basic necessities such as medicine, food, clothing, and shelter. So to help their families make money and survive, girls are expected to work rather than attend school. Many young girls are forced into marriage young so that their families may receive an endowment, which is usually money, thus ending a girl's chance to gain an education, as they're expected to take on the roles of a wife and a future mother. So around the world, millions of girls are denied access to an education. So some statistics from the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, or UNESCO, states that two-thirds of the 774 million illiterate people in the world are female, 31 million girls are denied the chance to attend a primary school, and 17 million are expected to never enter school at all. So as a future potential Catholic school educator, this is an issue that I would like to engage my students to examine and to apply the church's teachings into how they deal with or how they address this situation. So to look at the values, beliefs, and even the moral understanding of denial of rights around the world. So this is an issue that I've been exposed to in the past, and I took various religion courses throughout my undergraduate degree. But I was reintroduced to this topic this year while watching the film Girl Rising for Senior Religion. So this film tells the stories of girls from around the world who are denied access to education because of their genders. So it looks at girls from Sierra Leone, Haiti, India, Afghanistan, and shows how they fight to get an education or to continue their education, or they're currently trying to change the social norm or the cultural norm that exists in the country today. So if I want to examine this issue within a secondary school religious classroom, I could look at the grades between 9 and 12. I found that if you look at the Christian moral development expectation, you can apply this every single grade level, whether it be from world religions in grade 11 or to grade 12 Christ and culture. So you can have students examine what it means to be or to live as a moral person, or what morality means in the Catholic Church's views. And it can also tie us into the Catholic Ontario Catholic School graduate expectation. So one example I've thought of you could tie this into would be a reflective, creative, and holistic thinker. So that's would be one who solves problems and makes responsible decisions with an informed moral conscience for the common good. So to look at problems and make decisions to figure out how could you change this or what could be changed so that girls could be provided access to education. So I looked at three different countries that had the lowest rates for girl attendance in schools. So the first one I looked at was South Sudan, and there almost three-quarters of the girls do not make it to school. So the Second Sudanese Civil War has caused much destruction and death among the Sudanese people. People have been left without homes and schools. 2 million people have been killed between 1983 and 2002, while 52% of girls are married off before 18, 9% are married before turning 15. The second country I looked at was Chad in Central Africa. So in Chad, girls are married at a young age and they're expected to perform household chores. Girls are forced to drop out of school so they can fill the gender roles as mothers, like I mentioned earlier, wives, and housekeepers. Girls are forced to take care of others rather than prioritize what is right for them, so putting others before their own needs. And the last country I looked at was the Central African Republic. So in the Central African Republic, the literacy rate remains the lowest in Africa. Only 24% of females are literate. Of the 68% of girls are married before 18, and 29% are married by 15. Girls who are usually sexually assaulted don't return to school out of fear for their own safety, and parents who fear that girls were assaulted while walking to school will not send their children back to school out of fear of it happening again. So some ways you can have students explore this issue on their own or even to teach it would be to look at the Catechism of the Catholic Church. So an example I picked out from the Catechism was Part 3, Life in Christ, Section 1, Chapter 2, Article 2, Participation in Social Life, and they can examine what the Church's stance is on those having a social life, or how it can apply to the situation. So have students perform their own research on the Church's stance toward this and create their own, critically think about how this is being denied for millions of girls around the world. Another example you could use was to have students create a news report. So taking the background from a Catholic news desk, they would look at how from a Christian perspective, how girls are being denied the right that they should have or that should be given to them. And as Catholics, how can we address the situation to the different parts of the world? Another strategy you can use with students is to do a mock interview. So what you could do is have the students research a different part of the world and see to try to find the story from a girl who was being denied education, and taking the background of like the news report of a Catholic media station, look at how what the church's stance on this issue is, and to tell the girl's story through the eyes of through a perspective. You could also do some cross curricular lessons. So for me, my teachers are history and religion. So you could do a history lesson of how different political groups that come in power change, how the rights and privileges are given to certain citizens, or how different political groups or different factions come in and take these rights and privileges away from everybody in general. And you can also question how. So looking back from history. So going back through time and seeing what was like back then, or is this a new concept that has appeared recently, and how has this progressed further and further. So thank you for taking the time to watch this presentation.